Oh, the hospice. Yes. Leslie was being treated here years ago. He'd come here thinking it was familiar and safe.
You know where we are?
Just ahead is the hospice my brother runs. He'll take us in.
That didn't answer my question.
I honestly don't know. For all I know, I'm losing my mind and you're just a delusion. But I'd like to think I still have a shred of dignity and an obligation to protect my patient. As an officer of the law, you should too.
I hope his brother's not a jerk, too.
Hey, what's up everyone? PersNikity here. Welcome back to the Evil Within AKUMU difficulty walkthrough. We're moving on to Chapter 4, and this is a pretty, I'd say, special chapter for a certain reason, which I'll get to after this moment. So you're going to want to go inside of here because there's a map fragment, but this fat guy's going to try to kill you. I'm going to throw a bottle at him. I missed his face, so he didn't get stunned, so the easy way to take him out is just use a flashbolt. And then going for the stealth kill. An alternative option is you can shoot him with the shotgun, knock him down, and then burn him with a match. But keep in mind, when you use that strategy of throwing the bottle at the enemies, you have to hit them in the face. If it doesn't hit them in the face, they won't get stunned long enough for you to go in for a stealth kill. So it's always useful to try that approach, which is exactly what I did there, because then you can save yourself some ammo. Don't let that girl have you shit your pants, because that part can be a little freaky if you're not expecting it, but she will drop a good amount of green gel, so go ahead and pick that up. One thing I want to note, in the room where the fat guy came from with the map fragment, there was also a chest. There was like a treasure chest that I could have opened, but the problem is inside of that treasure chest was a booby-trapped bomb, and you have to have very good timing in order to open those chests, because if you open it too far, the bomb will explode and kill you. And it's similar to the wall bombs. I'm just personally very bad at timing those, so I decided to skip them. If you're good at it, by all means, you're gonna want to get it. All right, and so in this house, there's that small little passageway you can sneak through, and on the other side is some green gel and a document. But like I was saying, Chapter 4 is really simple because there's a lot you don't actually have to do. So like right now, you can see there's a save room in front of me, but I'm going to go ahead and pick up this hatchet, and if you run towards this fire, you're going to see a haunted, he's about to throw this person in, and if you run up and kill him fast enough, you'll save the person, and then you'll eventually be able to get a good amount of green gel. So if you just follow that girl over here, you'll see her kind of hide in this shack here. Or maybe that's a guy. Either way, they'll drop some green gel for you, and then you can continue exploring. You can see there's a couple harpoon bolts in here. Those are completely free, and believe it or not, those are really useful at certain points in the game. I think those are maybe like an underrated bolt for the crossbow, because everyone, you know, obviously like the shock bolts and the electric bolts, or I mean the flash bolts and the electric bolts, those are like the best two in my opinion, but the harpoon bolts did come in handy a number of times. But anyway, now you can see there's this big house, and that's what Jimenez was saying. That's where his brother Valerio lives. You don't even, as far as I know, you don't even have to go in here, or at the very least, you don't even have to confront Valerio. You can just go in and scavenge some resources. But Valerio's going to be in here on the lower floor, and then there's going to be some stuff on the upper floor we want to get later on. But before confronting Valerio, you can sneak into this back room here, and we're really just kind of looking for some more green gel, because like I said, there is some littered about. I'm going to basically try the same approach here. I'm going to pick up a bottle so that I can throw it at Valerio's head and hopefully stun him and go in for an easy stealth kill. But once again, you're going to see it's the same thing that happened with the enemy at the beginning of the level. I missed the bottle, so I just had to finish it with a flashbolt. Sometimes you got to do that. It's okay, but it never hurts to at least try using the bottle. Unless, of course, you miss with the bottle and then he grabs you and kills you.
Hush. Don't you fret. Doc, no, don't.
Valerio, it's me.
The good doctor is here.
This is my brother, Valerio. Leslie's original doctor.
Peel away. Yes, expose everything.
Hey, what are you doing?
Alright, so very quickly, just turn around to your left and run over here to give yourself some breathing room. Let Valerio get close. He's pretty fast. So you see there I threw the bottle, but I did not, for some reason okay, so it looks like there I hit him in the face, but for some reason I didn't do the stealth kill. I ended up using a flashbulb just to make things safer. Alright, and so with Valerio dead, we're going to go ahead and search the rest of this house. If you inspect this document or this x-ray on the table here, you'll see that there's actually a key inside of this guy's body, so you're going to go ahead and interact with that, and you'll be able to literally dig the key right out of his chest. It reminds me of something you would see in a Saw movie. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this part here was inspired from a Saw movie. But real quick, a note on the Valerio fight. I'm not exactly sure why I did that. So I threw the bottle, and I did hit him in the face, but for some reason I did not try to stealth kill him. I ended up using a flashbolt anyway. I don't know if maybe you can't stealth kill him by throwing the bottle at him. I'm not sure why I did that, but I think it's important to know, and kind of leads me into my next topic. At this point in the game, it's still early on, and I was still kind of learning the mechanics, so, you know, at least trying to become more and more comfortable with them, so that might be a reason I didn't go in for the stealth kill, because I thought maybe he wasn't going to be stunned long enough to do that, because what will happen is if you throw a bottle at an enemy, and if it doesn't hit them in the face, if it hits them, say, in the chest, they will be stunned, but only shortly. So I think what happened was, on an earlier attempt, I threw the bottle, I hit his chest, and then I went in for the stealth kill, and he ended up killing me. So right there, I didn't know at the time that if you hit him in the face, he'll be stunned for longer. So that's why I didn't go in for the stealth kill, because I thought he was only going to be stunned for another second, and he would just kill me like he did in the previous attempt. But that kind of leads me into my point. And so in this room here, there's going to be another haunted. You can just go ahead and stealth kill him. Just kind of let him run his path. Eventually, he'll turn his back to you. If you have to, just use your shotgun, shoot him, and then burn him with a match. But there's only one guy in here, so it shouldn't be that much of a burden to take him out. But yeah, so Chapter 4 is kind of a special chapter because this was where, even though obviously I made a fool of myself killing Valerio, this is kind of the point in the game, in my opinion, and in my experience, where you really start to get a level of confidence on your AKUMU playthrough. So obviously we haven't gone through Chapter 6 yet, so I'm speeding up the footage here because I'm going to go ahead and go to the save room, deposit my keys, and then go ahead and do some upgrades. So once again, just go to the locker, use any keys you have. I picked up some green gel, try to restock any ammo if you're running low, and then I'm going to go ahead and do some upgrades. Again, some of the important things you want to upgrade early on in the game: your crossbow, your sprinting ability, how many matches you can carry, things like that, maybe your shotgun damage. You don't really have to focus on upgrading the pistol. You can here or there, but you see I just spent level 3 sprint, and then I'm going to go look in the weapons, in the stock. I might increase my, different things like that. You can play around with it. There's no exact formula. And so all I did there was I upgraded my sprints. I decided to hold off on upgrading my weapons. One thing I do recommend doing, and you don't really have to worry about it this early in the game, but so there's a map fragment in that room right there, and then there's going to be a map fragment in the there's going to be a map fragment right here. And then there's just a little scene with Leslie, nothing really to concern yourself with. But yeah, so one thing you don't necessarily have to worry about it now, but it's good to save green gel for later on, because in Chapter 11, we're going to get the Magnum. And one thing you're going to see me doing is once I get closer to Chapter 11, I'm going to start saving a lot of my green gel so that once I get the Magnum, I can upgrade it almost fully. That's going to be very important for future boss fights.
Take care of yourself.
But anyway, all I was saying was, Chapter 4, it's kind of the point where I started to gain a lot of confidence with the game, because, you know, you look at Chapter 1, Chapter 1's kind of a gimme. Sure, there's that part with the sadist, but for the most part, Chapter 1's not a threat. Chapter 2 is really tough, because that's where you're really introduced to the stealth mechanic, and you have to learn how to use that. And then in Chapter 3, that's where you're kind of faced with the all-out fight sequence, similar to the Resident Evil 4 village sequence at the beginning of the game. Now, in my strategy, I ended up not killing any haunted, I just went straight for the sadist, but nevertheless, it's still kind of that level that introduces you to the more hands-on gun gameplay. So at this point here, we've more or less experienced everything that the game has to offer. Like, there's still going to be some really challenging boss fights and really challenging sections in general, but for the most part, you're really starting at this point to learn how the mechanics of the game work, and I think that's important, and that, you know, that was my experience, and I think it'll probably be the same for most other new players. But anyway, so now we're going to continue on with the level. You're going to follow Leslie into this house here. There's nothing really to worry about, except we are going to be introduced to a new enemy type. So there's going to be these invisible haunted. I'm not sure if they have a specific name. I didn't look that up. A lot of the enemies have these names that, like, I don't know how you would know unless you looked it up online. Like, there's this enemy later on called a trauma, and, you know, I would have never known that if I hadn't looked it up. So the invisible guys, I'm sure they have a name, but I just don't know it. For all I know, it's just invisible haunted. In this side room here, there's a couple supplies you can pick up if you're not already full on supplies, which I was, so I was just I just skipped it. But anyway, what I'm going to do when I get to this room is I'm going to prime an explosive bolt. I'm going to shoot it right in front of this door, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a little sequence, and then the haunted is going to run through the door. So I'm just going to go ahead and prep this now so that I don't have to worry about doing it, you know, once the pressure comes. Alright, so my explosive bolt is there. If any enemy tries to run near it, it'll blow up, and it should kill them in one hit.
Leslie.
So now you see if you run back here, Jimenez is going to try to comfort Leslie,
I think something's coming.
and then Sebastian will cue you in on that, and then you'll see right here, boom. Super simple. Alternative approach, and you're going to see me use this in Chapter 5, is they go down very quickly with shock bolts. Or, not shock bolts, flash bolts. I'm always going to mix those two up. An easy way to kill them is shoot a flash bolt when they get, you know, in the room. They'll get stunned, and then you can just run up and stealth kill them from the front or from behind. And that's a really easy way to take them down. The reason I didn't do it here was because I already used 2 flash bolts earlier in the level, so I just kind of wanted to save those for Chapter 5. But go ahead and collect the green gel. There's quite a bit of it in this back room here. And then you can follow them through the door for a short little cutscene.
The stairs are gone.
We must be collectively losing our minds.
Losing our minds. Losing our minds.
Losing our minds! Losing our minds! Losing our minds!
Oh, God. No. Ruvik. It is you. Leslie.
Who the hell are you?
No. Don't follow.
Alright, so from here on out, it's purely gameplay. You're going to follow Ruvik, and instantly you'll be transported to a different area, and we are approaching the Bloodbath fight. So that is going to be, it's a, I'd say, pretty well-known fight in the game, especially because I'd say it's one of the first high-pressure fights that you come across. So like I was saying, in Chapter 3, at the village sequence, that's kind of a big fight. But you saw in my strategy, there's ways around it. You can stealth through it. You can kill the sadist without having to kill any of the haunted. This fight here, there's no way around this fight. You're gonna have to kill everyone, because it's not until then that the door will unlock. But the good news is, once you drop down into this area, you have nothing to worry about, at least momentarily. The enemies will not spawn until you try to leave the area through the door on the other side of the map. So what I'm gonna do now, before before shit hits the fan is I'm going to go ahead and collect some resources, build some agony bolts because those will help. For this fight, I like to use the explosive bolts, but honestly, you can use the flash bolts and just get a bunch of stealth kills if you want. But I'm gonna kind of focus on using my shotgun and my crossbow. Now this lever here, if you pull it twice, the second pull will drop a statue down through this garbage chute, and then if you just swim through the blood right here, you can crush the statue and get yourself a key. And then if you crouch down right here, there's actually a tripwire. It looks like I forgot to disarm it, but there is a tripwire bomb there that you can disarm for some free parts. And then there's also going to be one right here, so make sure you're crouched as you approach it just to be safe. And then there you go. I don't know why I didn't disarm that other one. I think I tried this section twice. There is going to be a Ruvik doppelganger right when the fight starts, and so that's where the explosive bolt comes in handy because those will kill him instantly. So you see here, I'm going to run towards the door. The door is going to block itself, and then Ruvik's going to be an asshole and spawn a bunch of Haunted. Alright, so our goal is to get into the back room, so I'm going to sprint across here. Look at the Ruvik doppelganger, immediately shoot an explosive bolt at him, make mincemeat, and then get through this door that he came through, and then turn around and climb up this ladder here. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to stay up here for the entire fight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot an explosive bolt right there, just in case an enemy tries to jump that gap to flank me. That's my insurance policy. But now I'm going to stand at the top of this ladder, and I'm just going to let these enemies come up, and you're going to see what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get another enemy to climb up, drop a match, and you see I burned both of them. So that was a neat little trick to take out two enemies with only one shot. And then you see that guy. If you shoot them before they actually get a footing, you'll be able to explode a lot, or you'll be able to knock him back down on the ladder. And then the cool thing is there are a lot of Haunted down there right now. So because there's a wall right in front of you, you can essentially do a bank shot with the grenades. You can throw the grenade off the wall and cause a big explosion down below. Now in terms of ammo conservation, this isn't necessarily the best strategy. I am having to use quite a bit of my shotgun ammo. But keep in mind, there's other ways around that. If you wanted to, you could actually melee the enemies off the ladder, and they'll fall down and take a little bit of damage. Now, truth be told, that will take you a very long time, but it is possible. Another thing you could do is you could shoot a flash bolt, jump down, and try to stealth kill a lot of them. That's a little more of a risky approach. I like to stick to the grenades, because honestly, at this point, we don't have a large inventory of bolts, or at least I don't. So the grenades come in handy for especially areas like this where the enemy, because I'm standing on top of the ladder, all of the enemies have to kind of conglomerate at the bottom of that ladder. So you saw there, 2 grenades, a couple shotgun shots, and a match. And that basically did it for me. And I could have even, I could have been more conservative with the shotgun ammo. I could have used my pistol. I could have gotten closer to the ladder, shot the enemies in the head with the pistol as they were trying to climb up, and that could have worked too. So there's no one correct strategy. You see right here there is a shock bolt on that blue barrel, so that's another thing you could do. You could let all the enemies gather at the base of the ladder, shoot the shock bolt, they'll all get burned, and then you could drop down and burn them all with a match. Like I said, there's a ton of ways to use your ammo. I think the most important thing in the fight is where you choose to take your stand, and for me that was on top of that ladder. I thought that was the best area by far. Maybe there's better areas. If you happen to know of a better area, feel free to leave it in the comments. Probably should have turned on my lantern here because it's kind of dark. And I don't know why, once again, I forgot to disarm that trip bomb. Learn from my mistakes, I guess. I honestly have no idea why I didn't disarm that, because I know for a fact I disarmed it on all of my previous attempts. But for some reason here I just said, screw it, I don't want to deal with that. But yeah, so that flash bolt, keep in mind, that was the first flash bolt I picked up this game. So you might not have time to pick it up. If you're running away from the enemies, you might have to get up that ladder very quickly. Oh, it looks like, okay. So it looks like right here I decided to disarm the tripwire, finally. And then you can see there's some more harpoon bolts lying around. So if you're not already fully stocked on those, you can pick them up. And keep in mind that's something you can upgrade. You can upgrade how many crossbow or how many bolts Sebastian can carry at a time. So if you find yourself always coming to a part where you just can't pick up any more bolts because you're full, that might be something to consider. You might want to upgrade how many you can carry, and then you won't be facing that problem as often. All right, and so this is where you are introduced to the nightmare. This is where you're introduced to Laura for the first time. Luckily, in this first fight here, we don't actually have to worry about fighting her. We just have to run away from her. But she's gonna let out her shiver-inducing scream, and then she's gonna start chasing you. You're gonna want to stand by this door here. You can see that it won't yet open, but a haunted is going to burst through it. And once that happens, you can just run past him. So you see right there, I probably should have stood on the other end of the door so that I didn't get thrust into Laura. Again, it's kind of dark here. You might want to have your lantern on, but you should be able to see. And then just run. And this is, again, where it pays to have increased your sprint time, because you'll have a much easier time getting away from her. Now, she's going to spawn in these bodies. You don't even have to waste a match. You're just going to go down this ladder here. So, yeah, don't even waste a match. Just go down the ladder and then keep running, and then there's going to be one final hallway you got to get through. And keep in mind, at the beginning of this walkthrough, I told you how this game caused me to have one of the worst nightmares of my life. That was because of Laura, and so I'm gonna tell you what that nightmare was once we get to Chapter 5, because that's where we're actually gonna confront Laura for the first time. So I definitely encourage you to stick with the walkthrough and watch Chapter 5, because that's where I'm going to share with you the nightmare that this game caused me. And keep in mind, a game has never caused me a nightmare before. So that was new to me. But anyway, once you get to the elevator, there's only one more thing to deal with, and I don't even know if I'd necessarily call it a thing. Once again, you're gonna have to make one more run from Laura, but there's really nothing to worry about here. Just run across those spikes as quickly as you can, and then you'll get under the door. I don't think there's really any danger there. Even if you have level 1 sprint, you can still get through the door on time. I believe. I think you can. Anyway, shotgun ammo. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to go down these stairs, and you're going to end up running into Ruvik, and he's going to chase you back up the stairs. So this whole journey we're taking now is essentially for nothing. So Ruvik will spawn in front of you, turn around, run back up the stairs, and that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to fight him. Don't waste any ammo. Don't do anything like that. And also, like I said, don't waste any ammo on Laura. That's a really important thing in this game, is knowing when you should actually use ammo. Because if you see Laura spawn in front of you, your first instinct is, oh my god, I better shoot that thing in the face with a shotgun, because I'm gonna piss my pants if I don't. But you don't want to, because it's gonna do nothing, and it's just gonna waste your ammo. So that's an important thing to know. Anyway, this little cinematic will occur. Things get kind of trippy. And that'll be the end of Chapter 4. So, thank you guys for watching. Once again, I hope you're enjoying this walkthrough as much as I am. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. And I think that's everything. So, without further ado, I'll see you in Chapter 5.